Your distance messed deeply with this person, more than they imagined, more than they tried to demonstrate, and much more than they allowed to show through the silence. What looked like distance from outside, on the inside, turned into constant thought, inevitable comparison, an emptiness difficult to explain, and a restlessness that they already can no longer hide from themselves. There is something in your distance that touched a very sensitive place in this story, because your absence made this person perceive the real weight of your presence. And I will tell you something with all affection. Some people only understand the value of a feeling when they feel the lack of it echoing in the most silent days. The angels show me that this person tried to follow normally, tried to maintain the posture, tried to act as if nothing had changed, as if your energy didn't make a difference. But it didn't work. And do you know why it didn't work? Because there exist connections that don't erase in the shout, nor in pride, nor in the attempt to look strong. There exist lazos that stay alive in the detail, in the habit, in the memory, in the longing that arises out of nothing. And your distance did precisely that, took from them the distraction and left truth more visible. Perhaps you are listening to this message with a heavy heart, trying to understand if you really marked this person the way you felt. Perhaps, in some days, you even have thought that it was too easy for them to move forward. But the angels want to touch precisely on that point today. It wasn't easy. It could even have looked so. It could even have been hidden. It could even have come masked with coldness, with disappearance, with short answers, with indecision, or even with apparent indifference. Only inside there was impact, there was shake, there was comparison, there was memory, and there was a type of lack that they didn't manage to fill with anything around. In my vision, this is one of the most difficult movements to accept in love, when we pull away to protect ourselves, but still so want to know if on the other side this was felt truly. And I believe that when a connection messes with the soul, distance never passes in blank. It cannot produce immediate reaction, but it produces reflection. It dismantles illusions. It forces the person to face what before they were pushing for later. And it is exactly that which the angels show happening now. This person started to revisit moments. Small scenes, simple words, gestures that at the time looked too common, but that now gained a huge weight. The way you looked, the mode as you perceived things that more nobody perceived, the form as your presence brought a sensation difficult to replace. It wasn't only about romance, it was about emotional impact, about truth, about a type of connection that doesn't repeat with ease. And when you pulled away, this person perceived that some presences don't occupy only space. They change the vibration of life. Before continuing, write in the comments this mantra: my heart remains in peace, and what is true will find the right path. Write it with faith, because when you write, your heart agrees with what heaven is strengthening inside you. The angels show that this person passed to feel your absence in unexpected forms. In certain moments, without apparent motive, your memory arose strong. In others, it sufficed a song, an hour of the day, a place, a similar phrase, and ready, there were you again in the mind of them. Not because they wanted to remember, but because certain connections stay kept in deep parts of the soul. And when there exists badly resolved feeling, distance doesn't bring forgetfulness. It brings awareness. I know that hearing this touches deep, especially if you pulled away out of tiredness, out of self-love, out of confusion, or because you felt that continuing insisting was wounding you. And let me speak to you with sincerity. Sometimes, distance is the only language that the other finally understands. Not all conversation awakens, not all explanation touches, not all request is heard, but absence reveals. It shows what presence came sustaining in silence. The angels show me that this person started to feel something very specific, the sensation that they lost an important part of something that perhaps they didn't even value right when they had it in their hands. And this has provoked restlessness. It is not just longing, it's late perception. It's that moment in which the person looks back and understands that there was truth there was delivery there was something rare there. And now their mind tries to join pieces, remember signs, understand why they allowed it to cool, why they didn't speak before, why they didn't hold it when there still was time. Have you already perceived how some people only wake up emotionally when silence begins to bother more than proximity bothered? Well then, the angels show this clearly. Your distance messed with internal structures of this person, made be born questions that before they avoided, made grow a type of silent regret. Made with that they looked to their own posture and perceived that perhaps they underestimated too much what existed between you. Only here exists something important that you need to know. The impact of your distance doesn't signify automatically ready maturity. And I like to be honest with you about this. Messing deeply is not the same thing as knowing how to act in the right form. This person is feeling, is thinking, is being touched by this absence, but still freezes in some emotional barriers. Pride, fear, insecurity, shame of looking for you, fear of finding you different, fear of being too late. All this appears in the energetic field that the angels show me now. Take a deep breath for an instant, place your hand on your heart and feel this message, because there is a lot of people who needed to hear this today. Your distance didn't erase you from the heart of this person. On the contrary, made your mark look even more visible. There are nights in which they think more than they should. There are moments in which they try to distract themselves, but end up returning mentally to what you lived, to what they felt, to what they allowed to pass. And in the deep, there exists a question that comes repeating inside them. Is there still a chance? This question is not born out of nothing. It is born when the person begins to recognize that the feeling didn't finish the way they tried to pretend. Now I want to ask you for a simple but powerful thing. Write 777 in the comments as an act of agreement with this message and of openness for that spiritual clarity reach your heart. And if this message is truly helping you, save this video and share with someone who needs to hear this today. And if you feel in the heart, you also can support the channel by the donation on the video's QR code or by the link that is in the description and pinned comment. This gesture helps this word to continue reaching people who are needing comfort, direction, and hope. The angels show that this person, even without saying it, started to observe you in another way inside their own memory. Already it is no longer any memory. There is admiration mixed with lack. There is recognition mixed with guilt. There is an increasing perception that you were someone who brought truth, intensity, and a presence difficult to find. This messes deeply because they begin to perceive that perhaps they didn't lose only someone important. Perhaps they pulled away precisely from someone who did good to their soul. And here I need to tell you something that I feel very strong. Many women blame themselves for the distance, as if they had demanded too much, felt too much, or expected too much. But the angels touch on this with firmness. Your distance wasn't an error, it was an answer of your soul to what was wearing you out. It was your heart trying to survive what wasn't being sustained with maturity. And sometimes the biggest proof of self-love is stopping offering oneself where the other still didn't learn to take care. This person didn't stay equal after your absence. They cannot admit it, cannot speak, cannot run behind yet, but internally there was change. There was breakage of illusion. There was comparison with the before and with the after. There was moments in which they perceived that the environment without you stayed colder, more automatic, more empty. And this doesn't refer only to the routine. It refers to the feel. In my vision, when someone messes deeply with another person, this appears less in words and more in the incapacity to replace what they felt. It's there that truth reveals itself. It's there that the person perceives that they tried to follow, but nothing encoded in the same way. The angels show precisely that. an internal discomfort for perceiving that other conversations didn't touch as yours touched, that other presences didn't bring the same welcome, that other bonds looked superficial before the depth that they lived with you. If you are listening to this at night, tired, perhaps even with tears in the eyes, I want you to feel one thing. You are not imagining this connection. You are not exaggerating the intensity of this. Heaven is showing you today that your energy left a mark, yes. Your distance had weight, yes. Your absence was felt, yes. The angels show me also that this person has lived a type of silent struggle between feeling and acting. Because one thing is to recognize the lack. Another thing is to have courage to move. And it is in this second part that they still stumble. There is a desire to look for you, but along comes fear. There is an impulse to send a message, but along comes doubt. There is a desire to know about you, but along comes the fear of discovering that you already are no longer in the same emotional place. If you aren't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe and stay with us. Here always exists a word of faith for when the heart needs to breathe and understand what it is feeling. What the angels are showing now is very important. This person is not only missing you, they are beginning to understand what your presence represented. And this changes everything, because missing someone can be passing, but recognizing value messes deeper. Recognizing value provokes review of choices, provokes real discomfort, provokes comparison between that which was lost and that which still is lived. Perhaps they delayed to perceive. Perhaps they thought that you would be there of any form. Perhaps they trusted too much in your feeling, thinking that your presence was guaranteed. And I have already seen this happen so many times. The person gets used to the love of the other and only understands the greatness of it when this love steps back, not to destroy itself. Your distance had this effect. It took the emotional comfort of this person. The angels show me internal scenes, moments in which they almost look for you, almost write, almost speak, but pull back. And the pull back doesn't happen out of lack of feeling. It happens out of internal conflict. They know that your absence says something. They know that they cannot return as if nothing had happened. They know that if there is an approach, they are going to need to come with more truth, more clarity, more delivery. And this scares whomever passed a lot of time running away from what they felt. But this is not all. There is something even deeper happening. Your distance is not only messing with this person, it's also messing with the form as they see themselves. Because by losing your easy access, they were forced to look to their own limits, to their own fears, to their own immaturity in certain points. And this type of internal confrontation usually is uncomfortable but necessary. The angels ask now that you make yourself a sincere question. If this person got closer today, would you feel peace or would you feel weight? You don't need to answer to anyone, only feel. Because this answer shows a lot about the emotional place in which you are. The angels are sending you a special sign. Your lucky number for today is 8. Write in the comments, I receive the energy of the angels. My lucky number is 8, and I receive this message with faith. The number 8 speaks of interior strength, repositioning, and of what returns with more truth after a time of proof. And I feel that this has a lot to do with what you are living. Because your distance wasn't an empty end. It was a movement that repositioned energies, made the other feel, made you perceive, made truth exit the shadows and take form. The angels show that this person can even have tried to resist the lack, but there is a limit for that which is pushed inside. In some moment the heart charges an answer. In some moment the soul demands sincerity. In some moment silence begins to weigh more than the courage to try. And I believe that they are getting closer to that point. Only until there, you need to take care of your center. Don't stay stopped in the expectation. Don't suspend your peace waiting for a reaction. Don't abandon your value to try to anticipate the movement of the other. This message didn't come to trap you to anxiety. It came to give you understanding. It came to confirm that you marked them, yes. It came to show that your absence had an effect, yes. But it also came to remind that your life cannot rotate around the emotional time of whomever delayed to perceive. Write in the comments a list of people, including yourself, whom you would like to forgive. Visualize each of them. Send love and say, "I forgive you and I release you. May peace be with you." Feel the lightness this brings. There are situations that only begin to clear when we take out the weight that was kept inside. The angels show me that part of this story still is in movement. It is not closed in the spiritual plane. Still exists feeling being remixed, exists awareness awakening, exists something being matured. But the mode as this is going to unfold depends on two things: of the courage of this person to act different and of your wisdom of not accepting less than you deserve. And I'm going to tell you something that perhaps you needed to hear today with firmness. Messing deeply with someone must not be the only thing that suffices you. You deserve reciprocity, positioning, care, truth. Because feeling is important, but sustaining the feel with attitude is what transforms a story. Without this, intensity turns into just confusion. The angels show that in the next times, clearer signs can arise, a reconnection, an approach attempt, a more evident observation, an unexpected gesture. But when this happens, don't forget what you learned in this period. Don't diminish yourself to fit in a relationship that only values you when feels your lack. Let truth come, but let it come whole. Share this video with 2 dear people who need this message today. And, if you can, leave also in the comments a prayer for your guardian angel. There exists a lot of strength when several people unite in faith in the same space. I feel in the heart that this message arrived for women who were needing to confirm an old intuition. You felt that this distance hadn't passed in blank. You felt that there was something messed on the other side. And today, heaven confirms, yes, it messed. It messed in a deep form. It messed in the feeling, in the memory, in the perception, in the ego, in the lack, and in the awareness. Now, the most important thing is not transforming this confirmation into anxiety. Transform into peace. Transform into understanding. Transform into strength to continue honoring your value. Because when a woman learns to pull away without stopping loving herself, something powerful happens. The other feels, the other perceives, the other is confronted by the own absence of attitude. And if there is truth in this connection, the right path is going to open with more clarity, more maturity, and more truth. And if there is not, still so you already will have won something precious. The awareness that you weren't born to beg presents, nor to mendicant reciprocity, nor to live trapped to the almost. If this message spoke with you, write in the comments, "My value was felt, and what is true will find my heart in peace." Share your experience like this video and subscribe to the channel for more messages like this. Thank you for being here with me. May God bless your life, strengthen your heart, and illuminate what needs to be revealed. Until the next video.